Is the start of Ramadan, the holiest month in the Islamic calendar, observed by Muslims worldwide. Ramadan is a month of fasting, prayer and reflection where Muslims give to charity and take part in community service and engagement. Well, joining me to tell us more about the celebrations taking place is one of Britain's youngest Imams, Sabah Ahmadi. Thank you so much for joining us again. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm very well. First of all, the date hasn't quite been decided. Is it Wednesday when it starts?
So Ramadan will start this year on the 23rd. Sometimes there are discrepancies in when Ramadan will start for different communities. And sometimes basically what happens is some communities will look at the sighting of the moon in another Muslim country and some communities will look at the sighting of the moon in the UK. So
Right.
That's why there are different dates where Muslims start fasting, but the sighting of the new moon in the UK is the 23rd this year. So our community will start on the Thursday.
So on the Thursday is when it starts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here in the
And
UK.
and the preparation for it, for those who don't know, is immense, isn't it?
Do you know the preparation? I think it's a preparation which an individual does themselves, like
Right.
to get ready for Ramadan, to know that, okay, there's no food and drink between dawn to sunset. It's about getting in the right mindset. It's about preparation in the sense of trying to spend more time in the worship of God Almighty. This year I'll be trying to read more of the Holy Quran and reflecting on that and its commentary. Because once you read the Holy Quran once, twice, and then third time, you learn more and more each time as you read it. So you go into the depths of depths of it. But yeah, it's something which a lot of Muslims are getting ready for in their own way, shape, and form.
What is the significance of Ramadan and why is it so important for Muslims?
Yeah, really great question. So the Holy Quran in chapter 2 says Ramadan is a time for us to become righteous. So we leave food and drink, we try and spend more time in the worship of God Almighty. But also it takes us time to reflect on how many things we take for granted, like running water in our taps. Like while I was training to become an Imam, part of the training is to go to countries across the world to see how the community works. So I went to Senegal for a month.
Yeah.
And I saw how blessed we are to live in a country where there's no issues with running water, or we've got food in our fridges and we're not taking water out of wells and stuff. And it was a real humbling experience. And I think it's opportunities like this, like Ramadan, for us to think about how lucky we are to live in a place where we're not worried about water coming through our taps. We live in a very fortunate place.
Yeah.
So it's time for self-reflection and also to thank God for the blessings which we've been given without even asking for.
And you know what? You've just given me or reminded me of a memory when I lived in Nigeria, because half my family are Muslim and half are Christian, and we marked both occasions. And I remember that bowl of water that everybody would use. This one bowl of water that you know, to wash your ears and to wash your feet and all of this kind of stuff. And you're absolutely right. It's so easy, isn't it, for us to take for granted these things?
Yeah, it's absolutely right. Like. And some of the things I learned from there and there were such nice things which I try and like inculcate here when I come back. Like the part where everyone eats out of one plate.
Yes.
And there's one person who distributes the food to each person on that one plate for their next like portion. Yeah. And it's such an amazing thing. Like these are memories which I've never forgotten. And like what you just said as well, like half your family are Muslim and Christian. Is that what you?
Yes.
What you mentioned?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's same on my side. Like my in-laws aren't Muslim, so I mark celebration with them as well. Like I partake in their celebration or their happiness at Christmas, and they do Eid with me. So it's a really nice balance for my children to see both sides of the spectrum. So we've got a lot more in common than we thought.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I think that could be a mantra for the world, couldn't it? Like if we just took our time and really just engage with one another on the basis of our humanity, we would discover more, wouldn't we?
Yeah, like we all bleed red.
Yes.
And I think that's really important to remember that, it might look different on the outside, I might have a beard, I might have a different coloured skin, I might not do the things that other people do, but that doesn't mean we're all striving for peace and equality, which I hope. And the motto of my community is love for all and hatred for none. And I try to live by that every single day. And you're right, if we did realise we've got more in common than not, the world would be in a different place.
Tell us about the breaking of the fast, though, because that's also quite a significant moment.
It is. So the breaking of the fast, we try to open the fast with water or dates.
Yeah.
Because that's the Holy Prophet, may peace be upon him. That's how he used to open his fast. So we try to do that. If that's not available, that's fine. But also the energy that comes back into your body at that moment, I don't even know how to tell you. It's
Mm,
incredible, and you realize actually after you open your fast and you've prayed and you had your meal, you realize how little amount of food you need to get you
mm,
full, and
mm,
your stomach actually shrinks. But this year, as I do every year, apart from during COVID, I'm hosting iftars at Britain's largest mosque for people. So they'll come for a tour of the Battle for Two Mosque, which
mm.
is the end of the Northern Line in London, in Morden. And I'll give them a tour of the mosque, and then they'll open fast with us, and then they'll see the worshippers praying,
Mm.
and then we'll sit down for a meal. And I think it's been taken really well this year. I've got a comedian coming. There's a boxer who's coming. It's been like it's really developed as the years have gone on. So it's a great opportunity for me to meet new people, for people to come and see Britain's largest mosque, and to see first person how people pray and worship and what faith means to them.
I feel like I need to come. I feel like I
You
need.
know, listen, I've just messaged Joe. I've been in contact with Joe. I'm gonna tell Joe to give you an invitation. You've got to come. It'd be such a pleasure to host you.
Well, listen, as you prepare, we wish you the best. But thank
Thank
you
you so
very much
much.
for the invitation. Always a joy to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
And we're thinking of everybody who is about to start Ramadan, which starts on Thursday, as said there by the young Imam. You can find him online. He is under the hashtag, not the hashtag, but on socials, the young Imam Saba Amedi, talking there about Ramadan. So if you are going to be involved with Ramadan, and it's also, I mean, it's a bit like doing alongside Ramadan, doing Lent, there is something about the communal aspects of these of communities coming together, which really does make a